The levels of barbarism in Gaza haven't decreased at any point. Now we've had a very big massacre in Khan Yunis, in Mawassi, again, an area that had a massacre previously. Israel killed over 40 innocent people and wounded over 60. Mawassi, you're talking about tents in the sand. This is a place that Israel said it's a safe haven and people can go there and they can remain there. It's a safe place to be in Khan Yunis. Why? Because they, of course, forced everyone to go out of their homes. But when you're talking about a nation of bloodthirsty child murderers who celebrate the infanticide and the genocide and the suffering that's happening in Gaza, their atrocities and barbarism, they have no boundaries. The pretext, of course, is the same pretext that they had before. What is it? Well, there were 3 senior figures of Hamas, and we used precision missiles. You used precision missiles on tents in the sand. Precision missiles. Well, if they were precise missiles, how comes you killed 40? If you targeted 3. So you're willing to kill, assuming that's correct, by the way, which is it's not, of course, because they always use that as a pretext. They're liars. But if you did indeed kill 3 Hamas members, you are saying that, yeah, I can kill 37 innocent people to kill 3 Palestinians. Assuming that Hamas are included with the number. Although the number coming is the number from the health ministry saying all of them are civilians. Okay, but let's assume Hamas with them. If Hamas are not with them and Hamas are hiding, then it's okay to kill 40 people. All right. As a matter of fact, Israel killed officially, the official stats, approximately 41,000 people in Gaza, wounding over 100,000. Hamas, as confirmed by Israel, are still at the same levels in terms of numbers. Israel confirmed that Hamas went back to the same levels that they were in before the 7th of October. Meaning, well, the over 40,000 people who were killed, let alone the approximately 10,000 missing under the rubble that the Palestinians, by the way, many of them, they will never identify because of how far it went without finding them and the conditions. If Israel is confirming, however, that we have a Hamas at the same power levels as they were in on the 7th of October, despite over 40,000 innocent people, 17,000 of which children, that's why it's an infanticide, not just a genocide, then you're not after Hamas, are you? You are not after Hamas. You are just bloodthirsty, supremacist warmongers who want to completely ethnically cleanse the Palestinian people. You're not after Hamas. If you were after Hamas, you can target the Hamas members like you targeted Ismail Haniyeh. Why? Because look how Ismail Haniyeh died. And other examples. I'm just giving you an example of Ismail Haniyeh. Plane, a missile, whatever it was, explosive device, exactly where he is, and only him and his bodyguard were killed. So if you wanted to target Hamas specifically in Gaza, you can do that, but you don't want to do that. Again, because you are genocidal, supremacist, depraved, bloodthirsty people. That's why. Benjamin Netanyahu, everyone who supports him, many of those who don't support him as well. So they're still doing that in Gaza, and they just released a video. Hagari, the king of liars in Israel, Daniel Hagari, the military spokesperson, he published a video. What is that video? A tunnel from a children's room in Gaza. A tunnel that goes in. There are, Mickey Mouse paintings in the room and this lady. And where does this tunnel reach? Where the 6 Israelis were found brutally killed by Hamas, according to Israel. And he goes in the tunnel, Hagari, and yes, this is where they were locked, and they used this as toilets. Some of them were playing chess, bad conditions, and look, there were weapons too. And this is probably how they were shot, and. The typical bad PR machine of Israel. Israel's Hasbara has become awful. It's become awful. And again, instead of them taking concrete measures and actions to actually solve the problem that they claim they want to solve, they spend billions trying to sugarcoat it and spread lies. It's like a deal with the root cause of the problem. It's cheaper for you and you can actually get it sorted. But no, they'll spend billions trying to spin things and lie, bribe people, blackmail people, international ads on YouTube, ads on social media, this and that. Okay, good luck. Good luck. Another lie, of course, and they're also trying to have more sympathy from the Israeli people because Israel witnessed the biggest protest in history a few days ago when approximately 800,000 Israelis were in the streets calling for the resignation of Benjamin Netanyahu and for a ceasefire deal immediately. These people represent approximately 10% of the Israeli population. They were in the streets. But you're not talking about a government that's willing to listen. Why? Because Benjamin Netanyahu, he has a very narcissistic, psychopathic personality. He doesn't care about anyone apart from himself. And he is enabled by the West. He is enabled by Western powers, primarily the United States of America, the administration of the US. He is enabled still by many European governments. And of course, there is no deterrence from the Arab states surrounding Israel. So long as this formula exists, Netanyahu doesn't care about anything. He'll continue. The only thing that is stopping him from accomplishing his mission and objective in Gaza are certain measures being taken, firstly by the Palestinian people, secondly by a level of countries and movements surrounding Israel that are hindering this project of the ethnic cleansing in Gaza and the elimination of the Palestinian people in Gaza. This is the first thing that I want to talk to you about. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is Hizbullah. Hizbullah, they are continuing to escalate every single day. It's as if they have a strategy day by day, week by week, month by month. They start in a very small area, 5 kilometers down the borders. As Israel escalates, they escalate. They never break the tools. And they gradually, very gradually, expand their operations to different parts of Israel without it seeming like something massive or explosive, but winning by points. And the winning by points when it comes to Hezbollah is massive. So if they have points from 1,000, they're like 950 to 45 against Israel. But we had a report that there was an operation where Israel had to take many IDF troops to be hospitalized in the Rambam hospital in Haifa, meaning that there was a very specific strike over there. And Israel, although they usually have a lot of censorship, and unfortunately some people, even online, they take the official toll of Israel as if it's a given. So some people, to justify how ineffective the attacks of the Lebanese resistance was, they'll tell you, oh, look, well, only eight were killed. Ignoring everything that they are doing in terms of the effects of the country in the north, expelling over 100,000 people. Israel claiming that they lost sovereignty over the north, the people are not looking to go back, shutting down the economy, exhausting over 50% of the military, and of course, taking down way more than what Israel is admitting. Israel, when you're talking about Israel, you're talking about hyper-pathological liars. They never admit. In Gaza, you're talking about tens of thousands killed, Israeli soldiers killed. Being conservative would lead us to say 10 to 20,000 were killed. That's being conservative. And many figures in Israel raised eyebrows in Israel when they said 30,000 were disabled from the war. Now, what's disabled from the war? In Israel, lightly wounded means losing a limb. So how many are wounded? If that's the case, how many are dead? Right? Usually the ratio of urban warfare is 1 killed per 3 wounded. And this is no regular urban warfare. This is destruction warfare that the Israeli soldiers were not trained on. They were trained to fight, some of them, of course, not many of them, because many of them were reservists without proper training. They were trained to fight in urban areas that resemble places in Gaza, parts of Gaza. But no one was trained on destruction. No one was trained on fighting in an area where 80,000 tons of bombs landed. They made life more difficult and they made them more vulnerable. They made their own troops more vulnerable. But then again, who cares about their troops? Netanyahu care about them. When his son is bathing in Miami, they don't care about their own troops. They use them as cannon fodder for this death campaign. It's a genocidal death cult. Israel is a genocidal death cult that is only looking for more and more blood. It's as if they thrive on the blood of innocent people. They love seeing truckloads of bodies. And they say that too. They claim it, and they have even videos on social media. Of course, the senior figures in Israel said that, the Gazans are human animals. We need to kill all of them. Quoting things from the Bible, and these people, Israeli mainstream media, every day in the news, in the headlines, to see people calling themselves intellectuals saying, no, we need to have much bigger numbers of killed people in Gaza. 100,000 from the first month, take down all of them, all of their children, everyone, wipe them off. So this is a genocidal entity, and some people don't realize the extent of depravity that exists in Israel because of this prolonged, enabled, and entitled approach and enablement, primarily from the United States, but from many Western powers as well, primarily. These two developments are important, and I want to talk to you about them. Apart from that, we haven't had more elaboration when it comes to the incident in Egypt, the incident where a vehicle drove into Israeli soldiers in Gaza. Now, some people are saying it was in a different parts of Egyptians are saying it didn't even go down the route of the Philadelphia corridor. What we do know, though, is that there is a lot of censorship surrounding this, and I don't think both sides are interested in the truth going out. Why? Because if they do reveal the extent of something between Egypt and Israel, then they would apply more pressure on the governments in both sides, the decision makers, to take further action. And they don't necessarily want to take further action. However, the situation there is very, very fragile. And with the continuation of the Israeli barbarism, its illegal occupation, its genocide, its ethnic cleansing campaign, its starvation campaign against the people of Gaza, and its continued existence as an apartheid state, you will always have this type of tension situations happening, and the escalation probability, especially with the continued presence and occupation in Gaza, will still be there up until we either get to a ceasefire that will actually stop the war and lead to Israel withdrawing from Gaza, or we reach an all-out solution, which is not likely to happen anytime soon.